Courtesy of Crime.
Hello, what's up, everybody? How you doing? How's everybody feeling? How you feeling today? What's up? I am Jay with Guilty of Crime, and y'all could be somewhere else, but you're not. You're here. So hit the like button on your way in, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. All the stuff, share. I have Bree here today, and we haven't done an according to Bree in a while. She's gonna help us out with the show today and debunk some things. So 7 disturbing untruths that we're going to fact check and talk about the evidence log, the coin text, the pregnancy, and the the evidence log, I guess, are the drugs, etc. So we'll probably start with that first because it's a big one. You want to say hello, Bree?
Hello. I hope you guys can hear me.
I'm sure they can. I can hear you loud and clear. How you doing, Soul Rodriguez? What's up, Amy Boyd? So Bree is gonna help us out tonight, and it looks like you're in the mod, but I don't think you're gonna want to mod and do this. It's a little bit tricky. So
I've done it before. I can do it.
what's up, Sadie's mod? I wouldn't want to be modding and doing that, but I guess I do kind of mod myself and do it at the same time. So it's kind of funny. I guess I do that. All right. So what's going on, everybody? How you doing? There's elections happening right now, or maybe they happen for y'all. It's only 4 o'clock here. Um Delphi trial. What else? What do you got, Bree? What's going on?
Just pretty much same thing. Delphi trial, except no election here in Canada. Just
Okay. Yeah.
enjoying the weather change.
Yeah, that's
But
about
yeah,
it. I like the cold too. I actually curled up for a minute and laid down on the couch, and I woke up and I was like, dang, I got 2 minutes to get on there. So what's up, everybody? How you doing? We're gonna debunk some things today, and I'm glad that we're doing it because there's a lot of things out there in this case that I think they're important to go over because tomorrow I'm going to cover a new case and probably every day. We're also going to start doing if you saw my community page, we're going to remember Corey Michelo, and we're going to try to do that with some of the other children that we have covered because I don't want to forget them, and the family, we can't forget them. I know they didn't forget them. As a matter of fact, they're having a hard time with the holidays coming up and birthdays and all that. What's up, Clark? How you doing? So we don't want to forget them at all. All right. And today, I think, you know what, Bree, I'm going to pull up that document and then I'll go in order next. I'm going to
yep,
pull up the
sounds good.
case document. I think let's get that one out of the way. And I say out of the way because, man, that was that thing is, that one's the one that I've been seeing all over the internet. And I even saw it on Paula from Plunder, y'all. Last night I went on to her Patreon after, and when I did that, I saw her in there. People were asking her questions about it on her Patreon because it came from her Patreon. The actual document did. So let me see, how do we do this? You're not on there. That's why it's doing this. You're not showing video. It's okay. What's up, Jojo? Thank you for gifting the One Guilty of Crime membership. Scary Sherry says 7 o'clock at her house. So does that mean all the election stuff is what does that mean? All right. Scary Sherry, you're in the United States, right? What are you guys doing? I'm surprised everyone's not watching the election stuff. We're not, that's for sure. All right. So you got anything to say? You want to explain this for a minute, Bree?
So basically, if you look at the document, you notice that obviously there's case numbers on the side with little X's next to them. As we know, Stephen Stearns only has two case numbers that are linked to him because he only has two charges. So, well, okay, not two charges, two different case files with two different case numbers. So basically, while I was looking at the document, I went and I noticed there was another name on there. So I went and I put the person's name in Google and I started doing my background checking and I started getting news articles for different crimes that this person's committed also in Kissimmee, Florida. So then I started to do some digging on some of the case file numbers, and it's not just him on there actually. It turns out that many of those case file numbers are for other people. It turns out that when you are a detective and you're bringing evidence to the forensics department for law enforcement, when you go to do evidence checkout, there's a person there that signs in all the evidence for you. They put it into a log and you have to sign the form. They don't do separate forms for each different case. Some states do, but I guess Florida doesn't, or Osceola County doesn't. So all the evidence that this particular detective, if you look at the notes, it says items out for investigation to FDLE. So these are the items that he had pulled out on that particular date. They're for different cases. The ones that have the X's are for the other people. Like you see, there's something about Mitsubishi bottles, lift like a bottle with prints lifted from it,
Y-
drugs
You
that
know
are.
what though? There's no picture of the guy. I don't. You didn't add the picture of the guy in there.
I emailed it to you. It's in the email, I
Oh,
attached it.
it's in the same email that you attached.
Yeah. So
Okay,
the
I can't.
email you
All right, go
sent me
ahead.
the link to this, it's you happen to reply to the email I sent to you with everything
Because
in it.
okay. I'm looking at all the attachments, and there's no attachment
It's
for
the
that.
first
There's a bunch of
one you
car.
attached. Yeah, you responded
i-
to the one that I sent to you.
Interesting.
For
It probably okay. So you go ahead and finish this, and then I don't see it at all. Like I'm looking at it,
I can resend it while
and
we do
it
this.
yeah
But
it must. Oh, I got it. I got it. Go ahead. I want to show
so
them the picture. Go ahead.
basically, the one guy's name's on there. There is another page to this for the evidence checkout from a different detective where they did redact the names, but this particular page, they left the guy's name.
So
Now,
you see the
today,
thing that says meth. That's what we're talking about because they're not
yeah,
able to see that, and his name's gone. So they're like, "What are you guys talking about?" Right there,
but
it says
yeah,
they don't see that. It says two
yeah,
four zero
it says
zero two
meth, it
two
says
eight eight.
cocaine, it says,
Yeah, but when I'm listening to you, I'm like, "Wait, what
yeah,
the heck
that's
are they
not
talking about?"
Stephen
Because it doesn't
Stearns'
say
case
that.
number.
Yeah, but it doesn't
Oh,
say that on
yeah.
this document. We're looking at the
Well,
wrong
yeah,
one.
no, but if you look at the top, it says major case, was it major case? And then it says the guy's name, Daquan Doherty.
Yeah, I'm
But
looking at it
the
right now. I'm
very
on the
top
page.
one with numerous ones.
All right, so I see case number. So that's where the other one that I had 24002288, and it said meth, and it said his name. So this one actually doesn't. And I scrolled all the way up. Let's scroll all the way up. All right, let's take a look. Yeah, it's redacted. So this one's redacted. The crack cocaine and all that.
Are you on page
Are you,
436 of 501?
I am. Are you looking at it on the screen? It literally
Yep,
says
I
meth, point
see.
6 grams, and there's no name.
Yeah, it doesn't have a name. There's no redacted version of it. They just put it under as meth. They're in the one that says plastic baggie with suspected cocaine.
Okay, because
And then
I have one with
cannabis.
his name on it. I do have
Yeah.
one with his name.
And then at the
Okay,
top,
so
if you look at the one case that is the 2865, it says IB20 major case prints, and then it says Dequan Doherty. And then there's someone else who also had a
oh, it's right
SDX
here.
exam kit. So all the
Okay,
stuff there, if you notice the ones with all the red X's, those are all different people. If you punch those
there it
case numbers
is.
in Osceola County's database, it brings up all the different people that these are related to. If you look at the one that's 2133, there's latent card from Mitsubishi, latent cards from a bottle. So the only thing on this one particular page that's related to Stefan Stearns is just major case Prince Stefan Stearns, so his Prince.
Okay,
And
let's
then
stop
there's
for a second.
another
A lot of
page.
people, hold on real quick. A lot of people come in here and they don't even realize you're up here. They hear you talking, but they have no idea who it is. So everybody that just came in, I know we started pretty hot and quick. This is Bree, our moderator. Gothic Bree is up here with me, and she did a lot of digging for the evidence. So she's explaining the evidence sheet that you guys are asking about on other for other channels that said Stefan Stearns and Jen Soto had meth in their, in the evidence checkout. There was meth and there were drugs in there. That in fact was not Stefan Stearns or Jen Soto. And if you look at this document here, it says Daquan Doherty. All right, so that was neither of them. So we're today we're debunking some things, and the number one thing or other channels. I think the interview room did it. And there were other channels that did this as a breaking news, Stephen Stearns, and there were drugs in there. In fact wasn't. It's this case number, which is much different. Also, Plunder put out this document and people thought that it was part of it. And then they took her document and did a breaking news, but it was in fact not. So that's Bree on there, and I highlighted Daquan now. All right,
Yeah.
Bree. Everybody knows. All right, go
And if
ahead.
you go to page 434, that is the one that has Stefan Stearns' major file where you'll see all the redactions. So that is all the stuff with all the swabs and stuff like that that they took for him. And it mentions, 7 latent lift cards from his Lincoln and stuff like that. So that's page
And
434.
that's I'm on it. Yeah, that's the actual case number. That's one of the case numbers there, which coincides,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so that's when you see I'm highlighting it. That's a case number. All of these have different these might have different case numbers to them. Uh they just went into evidence. They're not it doesn't mean it's that case. So I wanted you guys to know as much as we want them to have had crack and cocaine and we think that they might be meth heads, it's not them. Wah wah wah. All right. So I'm gonna actually put a picture of Daquan on there, and thank you, Jojo, for the $5. Someone match me. I appreciate you. And then I got the mods. You guys, you're too kind. Synth, thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. Now, Bree, I'm gonna put a picture up real quick of him, and I don't know if you want to explain anything else about this. I also wanted to bring it up on Paula's page, so you can talk while I do that if you want
Yeah,
about
so
it.
it just so happens that I think that the main reason why the evidence for Daquan got pulled out at the same time as Stefan's stuff and sent to the forensics was because it just so happens that, we know Stefan got arrested on February 28th, and then Daquan, he committed a crime on around March 6th, and he went and shot up a restaurant. So, they had to go pull evidence out for numerous cases that they had to do further investigations. So they pulled out all this stuff at the same time. So I basically spent, the day putting in case numbers and noticing that these are all different cases from the Kissimmee area or Osceola County.
Yes, and we appreciate that. Pure Romance by Stacy. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Sin, thank you for the 5 Guilty of Crime memberships. You guys we're going to be all lit up in green. Yeah, so this guy here is not Stephen Stearns and it's not Jen Soto, right? Hello,
Yeah,
Nikki. I'm
definitely
glad you
not.
love the Yeah, I don't think that's either. So I wanted to yeah, let people know that do think that. I also don't want anyone else running shows on it, like a whole show saying, "Oh, breaking news! They're crackheads like we thought." Well, they probably are, but they didn't get caught this time. Just kidding. Um, but that's not them. So thank you, Bree, for doing the research on this guy.
I've
And
actually seen in the last couple days there have been some creators who've actually gone and done whole episodes talking about it and then having to go realize like, hey, this isn't what we thought it was, and having to go redo an episode to basically prove that, hey, I was wrong. Like this is not the same case.
right. Yeah, and when it comes from somebody like Paula, right? When you're getting the documents from Paula that say case evidence and you don't notice it's a different case, then you're like, "Oh, no way, that came from Paula from Plunder. That has to be it." But it did
Yeah.
come from her, but it in fact is not it because it's not the same case. So I'm gonna pull that up as well. I'm gonna show her Patreon real quick where it shows. So
A lot
anybody
of
that did
people A lot of
go
people
ahead.
don't realize, she does mention it on her Patreon that she does post up when she gets the documents and stuff from law enforcement for the FOIAs. She does post it, like the PDFs and the files, like the videos and audios, on to her Patreon, and then she makes a video a couple days later. So she puts it up there for everyone else to get access to it as soon as she gets it, but then she takes her time to go through it and does a video, a couple days to a week later on it, so
Yeah, she doesn't do live streams, and rarely do I ever see some, breaking, even though she comes out with many times she comes out with things before anybody else because she has the documents. She certainly doesn't you know, s- breaking news and this and that. She's real careful about her stuff. So, you guys can see it up on the screen too, and it talks about and I'll read something from a person, and I offer you all to send me Instagrams and I don't really do Facebook that much, but email me. We have a new website I'll show you today. I welcome you to send me an email and say, "Hey, I heard this thing. Can you tell me or look into it?" I love it. That's how we came up with the content today. So after I found this out, I looked at Paula's page and I said, "No way Paula's going to put this out there." So I saw the other creator that put it from Paula, in fact. She says, this Paula, "Yes, I saw that. I realized it wasn't related to Stefan Stearns. It's part of an evidence checkout, but it was if you carefully examine it, the case numbers you'll see are not related to Stearns. 22 or 24002288 meth, zero point 0.6 grams." And then she goes on to show you the plastic baggie with cocaine. It's a different case number. It's 2291 and then 2096 package with white powder, and then cannabis 2287, and then blue crush pills 2456. So we're getting into the nitty-gritty of things, y'all, but you have to when you get a breaking news that we found, documents that say they're doing meth and we found crack and it's not them. So thank you, Amazon, Foxy Amazon, for the Guilty of Crime membership. So I'll leave that for a sec. And Virginia L, if you rewatch this or you're here, thank you. She did send me, she said the interview room reported on this and they said that this was Stefan Stearns and Jen Soto. Now, the other creators, I'm not going to comment on because I don't want them to think I'm bashing them, but the interview room's cool. So we're good.
Mhm.
All right. What else?
Um, that's pretty much the basics for
That's
this
it.
one, and I'm just glad that we debunked this because we've gone over the documents and we've explained all the different things that, there was a list of stuff that was taken from the condo, and then they showed everything that was taken off of Stearns when he was arrested. And obviously, if they had, hard substances like these, when they went and stayed in the hotel room or stuff like that, they could have disposed of it. I don't think that they would leave that in the house intentionally, knowing that police would be coming to the house or, Stefan Stearns would go and get arrested and have that on him. And it would have been mentioned in documents up,
It
prior
would
to
have
him
been
out.
it would have been a huge game changer, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been. So when I saw that yesterday, I was like, man, as much as I didn't want to sit there and dig into it, because now Brie and I put this document together. Well, she put a lot of this together, but going back and forth through text messages, etc. Right, it got put together, and it's got all these little details of things, and it's time consuming. It's not something that you always want to, do every day. So it was good to for people to message me and say, "Hey, check this out." So I think we covered those ones. I'm crossing them out as we go because we actually do have like a list behind the scenes, y'all. All right, and
Yep.
what I'm going to next is I'm going to start with number one, where Stefan Stearns met Jen Soto and how. I talked about that yesterday in the video a bit, but I wanted to go over that today, and the number one thing about how they met play that for a second and then go over it. All right. And thank you, Bree, for getting that. We were talking about this morning, and she got the company Sold Model Homes, right? Is
Yep.
that the name? Okay,
Yes.
cool. Synth, we will go over the guilty of crime. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. We're gonna go over the new guilty of crime website when we're done here. I want you guys to see there's one point of contact you can go to now and just find me and find the mods and find what to do. So thank you. And then 5 guilty of crime memberships. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right, so we're gonna start with number one. This number one. All right, so let me play this. If you guys weren't here yesterday, you'll listen to her. Jen Soto is her talking about her meeting Stefan Stearns in 2017. And I think that's pretty important because this was on Paula's video where people were questioning it.
I met Stefan
She's
in 2017. We both worked for Eco Homes, a real
Oh,
estate company. I
Eco
would get
Homes. Okay.
appointments, and he worked in the
okay.
office doing like warranty work.
So that's cool. We'll change the document to Eco Homes. There you go. I see you on it already. So good. Um, you're welcome for the membership and $4.99 super sticker. Thank you, Clar. And this is why we're doing this, Bree. We're just going by one and debunking them together. And I
It
pulled up,
seems they've had
some
a bunch
clips
of
and things.
jobs together.
It does. And Jen Soto's not the smartest one. She's not the brightest one in the bunch. And she always seems to have different answers at different times. So, you know how that goes. But now that we have it
Yeah.
documented, we know. So 2017 at Eco Homes, and then we'll finish playing this. And that's not that's not how they bonded. It's just where they met. It's not why they became friends. We'll tell you that in a sec.
We met as coworkers. We became really good friends. We were best friends for like a year. And then eventually I asked him if he wanted to hook up, and he said, sure.
You want to hook up? Sure. Why not? I don't have anything else to do.
And yeah.
You said 17, 18. Did you live in Orlando, Kissimmee? Where were you guys living?
Kissimmee.
And did you guys live together in 17?
He technically lived at his parents' house, but he was staying at my house all the time.
Okay. Same house you're in now or a different house?
Wait, I take it back. In 2017, he wasn't staying over my house. It started in 2018 when we started hooking up, and we started sleeping over my house.
Okay.
And what were your next question?
Was that in the current
Yes.
house you live in now?
Yes.
Okay. Have you?
All right, so we'll stop that for a minute. We're gonna get through the first one. The first one they met 2017 at Eco Homes, and so on Paula's video, somebody was saying that's a rumor that they met over a gastric. Oh, I told you so. Whatever. So they didn't meet at in the line of getting a gastric band and they didn't like cheers to it, but they bonded over that. They met at Eco Homes, and then they bonded over both of them were losing weight, and they both got gastric bands. And so after a year of probably going through the losing weight and such, Jen, the horny potato, said, hey, how about we hook up? And he said, sure. At that point, I think he was already grooming. I'm sure he was already grooming Jen to get to Maddie and grooming Maddie at the same time. But maybe that's a strong word, right, Bree? I don't think he had to groom her much.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
so either. But he was probably trying to
yeah,
seem like he was the sweet guy, probably, bringing, toys and things like that for Maddie to try and win her over. And
yeah. Well, he didn't have to do too much. He was pretty dense when it came to that, right?
yeah.
All right. All right. So you guys are going to hear it then first. We're going to go to number 2. You're going to hear it here first. We're going to talk about Maddie's pregnancy, and you guys were on here. I have to eat my words on this. Now, when I got the phone call, there was no hoax phone call. I was sitting on here, and I got a phone call saying Maddie is not pregnant. We just got official word that Maddie is not pregnant. It came from the family and it's going to be announced by the district attorney. Well, guess what? It's never been announced by the district attorney, y'all. And Tinky, Tinky Tink 1207, that reminds me of Tinky. What did I call it? Pinky,
Pinky Winky.
his pinky, yeah, his pinky winky. Ah, thank you for becoming a member. Oh my God, that's making me laugh. All right. So I'm saying it right now. Number 2, Madeline pregnant? It's never been confirmed either way. So when I got a phone call while I was streaming, the source that I got a phone call from is credible typically, and it's not that she wasn't. It's just that if she got a call from the family, then I'm thinking maybe they just wanted to stop talking about Madeline being pregnant. But at this time, we cannot rule out that she is, because law enforcement never read a document, never released a document. Law enforcement didn't, district attorney didn't. So at this time, I'm not going to talk about it anymore, or I'm not going to say, oh, maybe she's pregnant. Let's have a series on Maddie being pregnant. I'm going to say we're not going to talk about it, but it was not confirmed. Bree, you got
Yeah,
anything?
I agree with that. I mean, technically, I mean, in the documents, it doesn't say for sure that she did miss her menstrual cycle. It just says she was late. And then, I always take into account the fact that the week before, like the week of her birthday, she was staying at her grandmother's house. So how, Jen could have not known that she had it at her grandmother's house. But like you said, we got the call. We thought that it was going to be officially announced in like a press release or something, some sort of document or, some sort of statement, and it never ended up happening. So I've had people saying that it was a scam, the call was a scam. It was not a scam. The call actually happened. It was one of those things where you were on live, saw that you got a call, you would, let her know that were live and asked if it was okay, that you take the call while you were live, and she said, "Yeah." That's why she was calling
Right.
you, because she wanted to make an announcement. But
Right.
nothing further came of the announcement. It wasn't put out by anyone. So I agree that, we have no facts to confirm or deny, but it is a big discussion, but it's just left for everyone to have their own opinions.
Right. And, we saw a couple days later Nancy Grace having a whole interview, or a whole, she's always a little bit behind. Hers is not breaking news either, but it's Nancy Grace. So she had a whole episode about it, and then other creators followed. I'm not going to be the creator, but I will say here and now, I did get that phone call. You guys were here. And that's that. Like, I don't know what that call was. I don't know if it was the family just wanting us to never talk about it or nobody, but I can't take the word of family members if I don't have documentation. If the law enforcement or the district attorney never announces it, then that's that until we further find out. So I wanted to let you guys know. And I love that you guys are having good chats in here, because you guys can ask questions later on too, and we'll see what we can do. Patty, gastric surgery, don't you have to go through a psychological exam? They throw gastric sleeves around here like they do. They throw them around like you would throw around to, Starbucks and ordering a caramel macchiato. Not really. That's what I'm going to say. And especially not in Florida. You can get lots of surgeries in Florida without even getting any of that. All right. But now, Bree, I went on to page 44. So we're going to talk about, Bree knows a lot about this. So we're going to move on from the pregnancy. I think I saw one other thing. What did it say? Krista says, I agree that thinking you're pregnant and praying it, yes, are total, but we're talking about a 13-year-old child. Would she maybe? Yeah, we are. And that's my opinion. Whoever else wants to do whatever else, I can't control that. I don't know. I didn't quite understand this, and I didn't know if it was a question. Yes, Veronica, Jen had, it wasn't a gastric bypass. It's a gastric sleeve, and so did Stefan Stearns. Both had gastric sleeves, and the year that I'm assuming, because you can't get their records. I can't go to their doctor and get a record. It's HIPAA law. So if they met in 2017 and worked together for a year and then they hooked up, but we know they bonded over gastric sleeves, then I'm going to assume their gastric sleeve was probably 2017 or right before 2016, 2017. So that's what I'm going to assume. But I don't get doctor records. I can't get doctor records. It's a HIPAA law. All right. So good. I'm glad you guys are asking these questions. And Kalista, that is why he had 3 belly button holes. Yes. Probably because of that. When you do a gastric sleeve, you go into that area. And yeah. All right. So
Yeah,
I
it's
went on to
usually
pay.
done
We're gonna
laparoscopically, so they have to create
right.
different holes instead of a big incision.
And he was chunky. He was more than chunky back then. He was a big man. So to get into go through his belly area, there's a bit of a scar that happened and the skin was gone. So when he got skinnier, it just left kind of like a poke hole. So yes, 3 buttons. 3 belly buttons. And hello everybody. Glad you're here. Bree's on with us. She's not showing her face, so I can't bring her up here. But when she talks, you can hear it's Bree, our moderator. All right. Imagine that disgusting body. Oh, I don't want to, McClar. I don't want to. Please. All right. So we're done
Imagine
with
if
the
he got
Maddie.
belly button lint 3 times.
Oh God, he probably did, and he never cleaned it because he never took a shower. So 21 days is an awful lot. Ugh, so gross. All right, uncooked cookie dough, man. Right, Synth, right. And Avis, thank you so much for the 5 Guilty of Crime memberships. I appreciate you. I'm glad we're laughing today and having, discussions, but lighthearted. So I pulled up page 44. I'm on 44, and we're talking now about the coins. Now I'm gonna pull up this. I'm also gonna pull this video up that says about the coins and the whole discussion that maybe it was Jennifer Soto. All right. Now, is that the right page I pulled up? Because I have the clip that
Yeah, if
talks
you
about it
scroll
being
down a
Jen
little
Soto.
bit, you'll see a big black redaction box, and it's right above that redaction box.
Okay. So this says here Madeline sends a text to Stefan that contain a photograph of 2 coins. Did you guys read that? Or did you hear that? So there's a whole discussion, and I'm going to actually just pull that up so they know what we're talking about. At 24:17, actually at 33:12, it actually says Jennifer's name that they pasted over it. But 24:17, we're gonna do that real quick. So 24:17 is when the discussion starts, but I'll read it again before I pull it up so people know what the heck we're talking about. So on Vinnie Politan's show, or it's hard to tell. Sometimes it's Court TV, sometimes it's Vinnie Politan's. He said that it could be Jen Soto that, in fact, sent that text message that we're looking at on the screen, y'all. So the screen says on December 12th, 2023, at what is it, 4,700 hour? I don't know how to do that. Bree, what is that? 47 hours? What does that mean? 11
40,
or 47
47
hours?
hours.
It says
Uh,
047
I was
Madeline.
gonna
It
say
was,
if it says 40,
it,
if it says
is that,
47 hours, that we have 24 hours in a day.
but it says 0047.
Oh,
You don't
0047.
get?
So that would be
Yeah.
12. That would be 12.
Okay,
So
so
midnight.
tw okay, so
12:17.
it says 12:47. Madeline sends a text to
Or sorry,
Stefan that contained
that'd be noon.
okay, yeah, I don't do military time. When I do, I'm like, "What?" Alright, so on all the other
Oh
documents,
no, sorry, that is
everybody,
midnight. That is midnight.
she said 47 since said 47 minutes, so I don't know why that would pertain if you're looking at
It
the
is midnight.
document,
It is
and
midnight.
yeah, Scary
Zero
Sherry
zero
says
forty seven. Yeah, it is
12:47
midnight.
AM.
It's
So Maddie was up texting, and I see you, Sadie's mama. It's hard right now because I'm reading documents and having to go through things. So, okay. So that document was not redacted when it says that Madeline sent the text messages and everyone started speculating. Back to speculating, was Maddie pregnant? So we still don't know, right? We just talked about that. And it does say that she sent it, but every other document, it's blurred out. All right. So I'm going to take this down for a minute and go to the episode of the coins where we. Okay, good. Em, you're with me? Good. I know there's people all over the place on chat. So we start here on Vinnie Politan investigates Stephen Stearns, and then it's a new jail call. But right here, it's all blanked out, and it leaves speculation to say maybe Jen or maybe Maddie. We just saw it. Maddie sends a text message to Stefan that contained a photograph of 2 coins. The coins had the inscription "New Parent Decision Coin" and appeared to be from Amazon. So now we know it's Madeline who sends 2 follow-up texts to Stefan stating, "We need this and get it for us, please." And then it goes back here. Mother's Day leads one to believe that Madeline and Stefan had possibly spoke about conceiving a child. Now, this is speculation from Court TV. I'm going to play it. And you'll see what I'm talking
Redacted
about.
sends a text message to Stefan that contained a photograph of 2 coins. The coins had the inscription of "New Parent Decision Coin" and appeared to be from Amazon.com. Redacted, again, sends 2 follow-up texts to Stefan stating, "We need this and get it for us, please."
Hold on, where is it?
A search of Amazon for these coins revealed these coins are for new parents, where one can flip a coin to decide if it is the mother's or the father's time to complete a task for a newborn. Due to the fact that this conversation was not near Father's Day or Mother's Day.
All right, so I'm going to go to where we start here. So they have a whole segment right here. There's a whole segment on Court TV that says who sent the text messages. And, they have the documents, right, Bree? I mean, they have the same documents we do, and they could do the same thing we do, correct?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you would think so, right? So I guess a good thing to tell you guys, and we'll watch this. We actually, Bree went in there and highlighted one of the PDFs, and she copied and pasted. And I did that too. Before we started, I copied and pasted. It in fact said Madeline where it was redacted. All right. So now see how these coins and a possible pregnancy gives him motive. Absolutely. I see motive anyway. I see jealousy as a motive, either from Jen or from Stefan, because Maddie was going to date somebody else. She was over him, whatever it may be. But do you also see how you can get a redacted copy and then come up with a whole segment on who sent the messages, even though you have the documents that say Maddie sent them? Right? You guys see that? But yes, I definitely see the motive. So let's take a look at this, because they're going to show you, they're going to pose the question who sent it, and then we'll show you again who did.
Conceiving a child with Stephen Stearns. Joining me to help get to the bottom of this, editor for the Osceola News-Gazette in Orlando, Florida. He was in the courtroom to actually see Stephen Stearns in his first courtroom appearance. Ken Jackson is with us. Also joining us, clinical and forensic neuropsychologist and author of the book, The New Rules of Attachment, Dr. Judy Ho. Now, I guess there's a couple different ways to look at this one. It could be Madeline sending this text message.
Again, we're going to listen to this, and then I'll show you. Now, Liv Wade, good to see you. I know everybody's preoccupied tonight. Cinder says, what did Stephen Stearns reply? We want to know what Stephen Stearns replied, so we'll keep going. We'll keep going and covering this, of course. You know we will. Overprotective 1111 says, I felt she was pregnant all along, but I didn't want to voice it because I know people are sensitive about it, and I understand. Now, you can voice your opinion all day, but as a creator, when a family tells you to be quiet and don't talk about it, if you want to be okay with them or cool, you listen. If I was to call, let's say, Rebecca Michelot, which I did, I talked to her, and we're going to do a show next week. And if I was to hit on a sensitive subject about Corey, and she says, don't talk about that. As a creator, if I talk about that, the family's not going to talk to me, and I'm not going to get them on the show, right? They want me to be sensitive. So I'm a creator. It's different than you guys. A lot different. All right. Yeah. Put a thumbs up for you. Vinny kicks ass. Absolutely. And this segment, who sent the message? All right. Now, with the pregnancy, I saw Scary Sherry also saying, um, she sees the motive. If Stefan was to have gotten her pregnant, it'd be game over. But it wouldn't be that bad because in Florida, I've seen a lot of cases, and if let's say she got pregnant, it wouldn't be as bad as if he took her life and then they found all those images. He could always say, I thought I was in love with her, and yeah, I know she was younger, but whatever. Maybe he'd get 10 years for that. It wouldn't be the death penalty and um a capital and then the SA two potential death penalties. All right. Kalista, I'm still confused by motive. Stefan Stern seems to be content to continue abusing Maddie, not to mention, I think it was premeditated. Well, they charged him with premeditation, so we don't know the motive yet. We absolutely don't know the motive. All right. All right, let's play this.
Dr. Judy Ho, I want to ask you about that first. Is that something that you would conceive even possible? Now, we know there's been ongoing years of sexual abuse. Could Madeline's perception of what was going on be different from what we would expect from a victim of sex abuse?
There is a small possibility that, and this is something that we do see sometimes with sexual abuse victims, that subconsciously or consciously, they try to rewrite the narrative so that they are not a victim. So this is something that is inexplicable, where people who might not have knowledge about victims of child sexual abuse would understand, but it would make it better in some way if they were in some kind of legitimate relationship, as opposed to this is a predator situation and I have been preyed upon for that many years. And this, you can see this kind of reaction ranging from child sexual abuse victims to even adult sexual abuse victims, where it's a sense of trying to get a type of control over the situation, but clearly it's misguided, and it's almost like Stockholm syndrome, but very, very different from that, in that there's a child sexual abuse component here.
Right. And Ken, I want you to take a listen to this, because the other thing that people have been talking about from the beginning, alleged motive for murder, was Madeline carrying a child after being a.
All right, so there it is. So we're talking about it right now. This will be until we hear something from somebody. We won't be talking about that unless they say she's pregnant or the district attorney or a law enforcement finally comes out and says she's not. So yeah, Karen says these coins blew my mind. I knew Maddie thought she was and told SS, or you think she did. Yeah, nobody knows. And even the family doesn't know at this point. I have gotten no solid information. You got anything for us, Bree?
Well, I can see how they thought that, it was Jen who sent it, because there was pregnancy tests under the bathroom sink. Why would someone keep that? But that gets into another point that you're going to talk about later regarding her and Stefan, that she might have
Right.
kept those. Um, but I can see also the confusion because both names have 8 letters. So they could have just, which one was it, and kind of figured it out. A lot of people thought the coins were for the Tamagotchis that, she was playing with. The specific one that he had modded for her, that was the pictures were posted, would happen to be one of those ones that you raise from an infant to, adulthood, and they go to university and you make all these decisions and stuff. So it could have potentially been for that. They could have, both played the same Tamagotchi, passing it back and forth. It could have been for a bunch of different things. Based on his posts online that I've read and how he felt about bringing a child into the world that was not wanted, he was really against it. I could see him using, Plan B, or, you know, something that to prevent that from happening. And there's other ways to prevent, like if she was, hypothetically pregnant, instead of taking her life, he
Right.
could have just had it terminated, or, put it
But
up for adoption. He didn't have
but I
to take
also
his
wonder
life.
why he was talking to her about that. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, in this day and age, even if you go get a under the table, I hate to say that, but under the table, black market type of uh, abortion, it's still better than capital, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, there's many things I could think of too. And when you start getting into the Tamagotchis, I even think of that even more. Like, man, when you take it in context of a 12-year-old that just turned 13, most of the time the context of it would be something like a Tamagotchi or some game you're playing or whatever, right? Not you wouldn't go to pregnancy, but because of the abuse that he put her through, I can see that.
Yeah.
All right, let's play this. I'm trying to look for something. I have a lot of different things to look through. Yeah, we're trying to debunk all this, and there's a lot of documents, a lot of things, a lot of screenshots. Overprotected. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. I totally support you supporting Maddie's family wishes. Love your work and your passion and compassion. Keep up the beautiful work. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right, and all the crime crew. When we get to the end, and I show or when we get to the next segment, I'll show the Guilty of Crime website, and you'll see all of our mods up there, and they're all in it. They're all Bree puts a ton of work into this. Synth, everybody does. Everybody does. Petty Mason's right now. She's researching new cases for me, so it's awesome. It's awesome how we work well together. All right, let's play this real quick.
Abused by Stephen Stearns. Here's Jen in her interview talking about Madeline's period.
It can go even worse. She's pregnant.
That's what questions last night led me to believe when we started talking about her period.
I was told that her and her friend, and granted, I'm male, never had a period, but that somebody found it weird that they were no longer on the same cycle. Could be different because she's a teenage girl. Could be that she missed her period. Have you ever found a pregnancy test at home that wasn't yours?
I have two underneath the bathroom sink, but I haven't seen if they're still there or not.
All right. Now, we also have, and it was referenced by the detective there, Madeline's friend speaking about the menstrual cycle. She had previously mentioned her and Madeline, this is Madeline's friend, may have been on the same cycle, meaning they got their period at or near the same time monthly. But this juvenile clarified that Madeline got her period in January, but she didn't know if she got her period in February or not. Actually, that redacted may be Jen there. Again, the redactions get sometimes confusing. So Ken, what are your thoughts here on the prospect? Because this is, a lot of people have been talking about this, right, as a potential motive, but we haven't heard or seen any evidence that Madeline was carrying a child.
Right. I mean, this was something that had been speculated early on that it would create a motive that Madeline was potentially pregnant, and was it Stefan's? And we didn't really hear much about that in the last couple months as some of these audio pieces have come out with Jen.
Let me just answer this real quick, and we're almost to the part where I think actually we are about to hit it. We're still talking about who sent the message so that we can talk about and drop after this on my channel, the pregnancy thing, until we hear further. But yes, they have plan B. They definitely have plan B. I think all states, all of the states in the US, does anyone know any states that don't have the plan B? But that's going to be way different. Bree, do you know anything about that?
I know
You're
that
not in
most states do. Yeah, but my fiance is from the States and my mom's American
okay.
as well. So
Okay.
I know that most states carry it, and I know some states even you don't even have to. You can just buy it off the shelf in the contraceptive section. Some make you go up to the pharmacist and ask for it because they keep it behind the counter. It's not something you need a prescription for, so you can just go and buy it. It's basically just a high dose of birth control that you take to make you, not get pregnant.
Right. And the morning after pill, what they call it. So
But yeah,
yeah.
basically.
And that's what I thought too. When the first time I ever heard, and I'll be honest with you, when I heard the motive that he took her life because she was pregnant, I was like, what? We're in 2024. It was 2023 then, but pregnancies are just, I mean, around here, I see them, and even growing up, people are using those, and I hate to say, as birth control. Is it that hard to get an abortion in Florida nowadays because it got because the laws changed in some states? I just don't get it. It just doesn't seem like that would be when there are so many other options. But that's just my opinion. I still don't know. Plan B is not an abortion. Absolutely not, fam. But I'm saying that's an alternative to it. There's also there's different abortions where you take a pill and the baby, the life is gone and it comes out in pieces. I know that's not plan B. Plan B is the morning after. I have a son that didn't have $50 when he was younger and said, "Mom, I need plan B. Can you spot me $50?" Of course, I know what that is. But what I'm saying is there are many more options besides a capital offense like that. All right. Jay, Maddie's BF said Maddie was 2 weeks late. Second interview with the male detective. Right. But 2 weeks late just means 2 weeks late. It means you had it. It means you were 2 weeks late on it, but you had it. That's all it means. So that's that. All right, let's finish this so we can get to the next thing.
With Stefan, with the roommates, this new piece with the coins is what connected me back to that. Now, granted, it's been weeks since we even brought up the possibility of her being pregnant, but these coins are these mommy's turn, daddy's turn, Amazon coins, and you have either now you can see through the redaction, a longer first name and a shorter second name. That could be Madeline Soto. That could be Jennifer Soto. Someone saying, "We need these, get these." That ties us back now to that as being a strong, maybe not a strong possibility, but more likely than zero.
And the other part of this is that Jen Soto, they were not like boyfriend and girlfriend at this time, right? It was something strange evolving in the relationship between Jen and Stefan, but I don't think they were sexually active. So why would they be looking for these? I will play this piece though. This is from Jen's police interview, describing their responsibilities towards Madeline as the child, not a newborn, but as a child.
He's not a very clean guy. He's kind of a little hoarder, a collector. So just my house was always a mess and everything.
All right, so we got about 2 more minutes on this, and then we're going to get into the next thing. The Stefan Stearns trial, it's probably not going to be televised. I mean, it might be, but I don't know about that. Definitely not the CSAM one. All right, so we got about 2 more minutes on this, and I'm glad we're having discussions about that. I know everybody's dying to have discussions on that. About her pregnancy, and we're talking about it right now. I thought that maybe those coins were for Daddy being Stefan Stearns and Jen being mommy, and maybe Maddie wanting more, more time with Stefan and getting the coins. It's Daddy's turn. There's so many alternatives to what we think it is.
The way that I wanted it to look, or the clutter just gave me anxiety. So I asked him to go upstairs, and he did. And he lived upstairs until until December of last year. And then he moved to Northport, Florida with his parents, because they had promised him a job, but that fell through. So we were in the process of trying to get him to come back up here to get his job back at Disney and for him to move back into the house for a little bit. I'm not sure long term. I know temporarily I was willing to accept him back.
Was that something out of convenience for him, or because you?
A little bit of both. We missed him, and I wanted to help him out, like make it easy, like give him a place, like a base to start at, and then for him to start looking for something else afterwards on his own.
Ken, when I listen to this, it doesn't make a ton of sense that it would be Jen either, right? Because they don't have a newborn. They really weren't in a sexual relationship unless they're using this coin to divvy up the responsibilities for the now teenage daughter or soon to be teenage daughter. What are your thoughts there, Ken?
I mean,
all right, so that was that's it right there where I wanted to stop it, where they put Jennifer's name in and for each one, and that was in fact debunked by Bree. She went through the document, copied and pasted it, same amount of letters for each, and it's not. Bree, you want to just take this to the end of this one? I'm not going to play anymore. I just want you to,
Well, I just
Well,
wanted to also point out the interview that they did with Jen, the video interview. They asked her things that were on her Amazon list, if you noticed, and she had said that the last thing she added to the cart and she had purchased on Amazon was birthday things, like for birthday supplies, party supplies. So they were asking, and she said that her and Stefan shared their Amazon account. So I can see if Jen wanted to buy something like that, she has the money and the Amazon account and access to it, she could have just purchased it herself. Whereas Madeline didn't have, that I know of, her own Amazon account. And it seemed like her money was always being borrowed by, her mom and whatnot. She did have a debit card, but like I said, I don't have any knowledge. I haven't seen anything in any documents where there was any um, Amazon account search warrants requested, except for Jen and Stefan that they shared one. So they wanted one that was linked to Jen's email and then anything that was linked to Stefan. So I just think that, you know, that's why they were probably asking about the Amazon account thing. And it could have, if it was Madeline, she probably would have had to ask someone to buy it. And it could have been a gift for someone. She maybe had a friend that was pregnant. Who knows? But there's a
or
lot of
anything.
different
Yeah.
theories. Yeah. There's a lot of different
Right.
theories.
But we checked it and it's in fact not Jennifer like it shows there. So that's it. It's Madeline and we'll find out as we go. Like somebody said earlier, we doesn't matter at this point what it is. When it comes out, we'll know and hopefully they use it against him. If she was pregnant, hopefully he gets additional charges if that's something that Florida does. All right? So, let's pull this one down. I'm going to stop sharing this one. And I'm going to quickly just go on to the part where somebody said that they weren't having relations at all in that manner. Jennifer Soto and Stefan Stearns. Now, in Jennifer's, I'm just going to talk this through real quick. I can't find that document. I can only find the little script that we looked at. So Jennifer had many interviews, and in the last one, she said that she was broken up and she hadn't slept with Stefan for about 6 months because of her medication, but she was actively sleeping with him before that, and he was an active partner. As a matter of fact, she said, and I'm going to read it. What the officer asked her, I asked Jennifer to explain her and Stefan's sex life, which she described as vanilla because Stefan would want to have ANAL with her and she didn't want to. All right. So they were sleeping together. There were a lot of excuses on her part. So I want people to know that was asking her. They weren't even together. They weren't even sleeping together or any of that. I guess it doesn't really matter, but they were. They were definitely active. They started out because Jen wanted to. Maybe the horny potato was a lot more horny back then when she wasn't on so much medication. I don't know, but she's the one that started, and she in fact did continue. And I'd imagine Stefan probably didn't want to sleep with her much after he had what he wanted. I hate to say that, but he had Maddie. He had her mom handed her over, right? So that's that. So that is, I don't even know what number that is. What number is that? Jen and Stefan still having intercourse. Absolutely. I just read that. So I don't, it's in the document of, I think the 896 pages. All right. So I'm going to do the Sailor and Coda one, and then I'll probably let you take it. I don't know what else I have after that.
Other than that, I
So
think the last thing's what I have.
yeah, so Sailor and Coda, and I'm gonna play that again. Yeah, I love you guys. The horny potato is what I'm gonna call her, and we can take her hair off too. That looks more like Jen, right? Hey, you want to hook up? Sure. I wouldn't be excited by that. How about you? I can imagine why it was so vanilla because he said sure. All right. Oh, I lost her arm. I lost the horny potato's arm. So this is her right now. All right. So trigger warning for anybody. All right. So that we debunk that. Sailor and Coda dog feeder. It was a dog feeder. It wasn't a bird. It wasn't Stefan in the background. And it bothers me because people still have full conversations about this. So Sailor and Coda those were her pets, right? Is that right, Bree?
To my knowledge, her dog's name was Chewy, but they did have a cat, and maybe they had a nickname for the dog. Everyone always has a name, but then a nickname that they call the animal. But I know that Sailor Coda is a known nickname that Jen used online for aliases and accounts and stuff like that. So it has to have some relation to the animals or something like
animals.
that.
Okay, so yeah, a lot of people been talking about that. Even the what is it? Behavior panel thought it was a bird in the background, or I hear people saying Stefan was there doing that, and she started laughing. It was in fact some animal name, and Sailor and Coda. It said in the dog feeder. Stefan programmed it to say that, and it was for them to eat, like to come when the feeder. You'll be able to hear in the recording the animal and the kibble dropping into a metal bowl. So it's not a bird, y'all. I'm gonna put that in, and then I'm gonna let Bree take it. She has another thing. Hold on. Man, I can't believe we've been doing this for an hour already. Wow. All right. Listen up.
That should be it. Sorry about that.
But it might have been Maddie.
All right, let me turn it up a little bit. I'm gonna put it one more time because
She wanted to walk
she's so dumb. So dumb. Okay. I couldn't hear it
the
that
rest of the
well.
way. Sorry.
It said Sailor, Coda, and then it said, come get your food. So it was Sailor and Coda. All right. So Lori Lau, thank you. Sailor's the dog, Coda's the cat. Now I heard that yesterday, and I wanted to make sure I got this on, on film. I recorded it because I'm tired of hearing that. So let's debunk that thing. It wasn't Stefan, and it wasn't a bird. I don't know why that bothers me, but thank you, Casey Atkins, for the $5 super chat. Her ex-husband, Steven, said the dog's name was Sailor. Thank you. And Kodo was the cat. And I heard that yesterday on Plunder, and I was like, there it is. It's Sailor and Coda, which I couldn't tell because I've never heard those names before. All right. Yeah, the twice baked potato. Thank you again, Casey. And yes, definitely. I took my meds. She took her meds for sure. Yeah, it does sound chirpy and happy, but it was Stefan Stearns. Another grooming tactic, in my opinion. All right, hold on. We'll finish this up. Yes.
That should be it. Sorry about that.
But it might have been Maddie. Also in there, it's hard to tell on that recording. She couldn't help but smile just hearing her boyfriend's voice. Never mind, she was in the middle of an interview about her missing daughter, and Lord knows where her daughter is. She couldn't help but give that smile. But then perhaps Jennifer realized how inappropriate that smile was, and she kind of just goes, sorry, like it'll stop in a few. But there's no more Facebook for Jennifer.
All right. We know she's not the smartest. And that picture is very disturbing when I see Maddie on his shoulders at that age. Who knows if he was already doing what? All right. What do we got? What's next? Is it okay? So we're gonna go over the Telegram Fitbit information. Bree has talking points on that, and it's important. So I'm trying to figure out what to put up so they can see. What do you want me to? What document am I putting up for that, Bree?
If you want to put up the 501 page document and go to what
Perfect.
is it? Let's see, page
Okay, I have it.
486.
All right, so we're going to go back to the 501 page document. And, I'm so glad that we have these documents, that we got them. It took work. Thank you, Bree. Thank you, Carly, for getting those. What's the page number? 486?
486.
486. All right, I'm going
So
to pull it up in a
it's
second.
right under
Hold
the
on.
text.
When I hit 486, it throws me to 434. All right, let me pull this down. All right, y'all. I love having these documents because we can go through them, go back, and then, well, basically talk all freaking day about what we're gonna do. Since yesterday, what we're gonna do, what we're gonna show you guys, and we could do like full episodes on this because I've seen full episodes on, for instance, like the Fitbit I saw was what's an interesting one with Gavin Fish. Hold on, real quick. I'm trying to pull this up, and it's not cooperating. Window. There it is. Okay. All right. 486. And where do you want me to go?
Right
Am I on the
there.
right page?
Right underneath
Okay,
the text
perfect.
part, the
All right.
Fitbit
So
part.
let me just one more time. So we're on our last one and we're over an hour. That's awesome. We're going to go over Telegram Fitbit information and the 501 page document that you can grab from my Patreon. If you want it, you can go through all those pages and you can email me and you could say, Jay, did you see this thing? We should talk about it. And I'd be happy to. All right. So go ahead, Bree, take it.
So basically, I wanted to talk about first the Fitbit. Um, First off, when you hear the phone call from Stefan with his parents, he keeps talking about a watch and he asks if they'd found the watch. My thoughts are that he's not looking for that Rolex. I think he's looking for his Fitbit because if you go and look at the new Fitbits, the Fitbits collect a lot of information: your steps, distance traveled, calories burned, weight, heart rate, sleep stages, active minutes, location, cardio fitness. It checks your breathing rate. It checks your blood oxygen level, your skin temperature variation, if you're sweating or not. It checks if you snore, your sleep score, your resting heart rate. And the one thing is that when you look at they have an example there of how many steps he took at what hour and stuff like that for examples for the different times. So if they were to look at that, even if he turned off his cell phone, the Fitbit still has GPS location in it and it still responds, and it can still respond to a satellite or it can still respond to Wi-Fi connection if your car has like Sirius XM, which is connected to satellite. Those Fitbits are very smart and data is saved in them too if you don't have it on the internet, or it doesn't have a connection to connect to, it still saves it. So they can check on an average night how many steps it took for him to go from downstairs up to the main bedroom where he was sleeping versus the night that everything happened, and see if he was pacing around, if he took extra steps. They can check his heart rate and see if his heart rate was more elevated than normal. They can check if he was sweating. They can check a lot of things on this Fitbit. So I think that's why what happened was in the documents, you'll see that in the search warrant section, which is on another area, they actually found when they did a search warrant to Google that he had a subscription to Fitbit Premium. So then they started looking at different pictures, regular pictures of him, and noticed in some of the pictures he had what looked like a Fitbit on his wrist. So then they sent a search warrant and got the information back. So based on that, when they looked at his phone, they were able to see that when he was driving, when the traffic cameras were checking and catching him and stuff like that, he had his phone off. Well, his Fitbit wasn't off, his Fitbit was on his wrist. So they were able to go and get all that information. And a lot of people don't realize that these Fitbits are a little more advanced than an Apple Watch. It has a little more advancement to it, and it's specifically for health, wellness, and keeping track of all of that health stuff. So I wanted to kind of point that out because that's a big thing that can tell them a lot of information based on that night. So that's
Right.
why I wanted to kind of talk about that.
Absolutely. A ton of things. I mean, they can go back if they miss some things. I saw, a whole episode on the Fitbit and a whole bunch of documents. And it was the, yeah, Sweetie says, you were awesome, Jay. Friday, 50 minutes in his video. Love you, Jay. Huh. 50 minutes in video. Well, he did a video on that, but I saw this was the Fitbit that watch they were talking about that the parents were referring to, right? Is that
I
correct?
believe that is, I
The
believe because if you think about it, if he knows all the information that could be stored on that, he wouldn't want them to get a hold of it. And he seemed kind of nervous saying, "Did you find that watch?" And he was kind of asking him, they're like, "No, not yet." So I think that he doesn't realize that they found it at the house because it wasn't in his evidence. It wasn't in his property when they checked him in and they arrested him. So he probably thought maybe it was left in the car or it was at Jen's house or maybe at his parents'. It was somewhere, but he probably was wearing it and took it off and left it, at the house and was just not aware of where he left it. So I don't think it was the Rolex because if he had
Yeah.
stolen that Rolex and then was asking where it was, I think the parents would have made a snarky comment, like saying something like, "Oh, do you mean the one you stole?" or something like that. His parents are very blunt and forward. I would think they would say something. So I think it was the Fitbit that he was looking for and worried about.
And I think I mean, I have on the Vinnie Paulton, I screenshotted where it says I contacted Chris by telephone who said he was cleaning out the storage, and they first talk about cleaning out the storage, and they opened the storage bin and located a hard drive that would normally be housed in the desktop computer. In the same storage bin, Chris located a watch that Stefan previously told Chris during a phone call from Osceola County Jail was in his bedroom. Chris stated Stefan must have gained access to the storage when he made the trip to Northport on 2/28/24. So I'm wondering, is that the watch they're referring to? Is a Fitbit in that?
It could
Or is
have
that a
been. His parents are very forthcoming with evidence and giving stuff in, like the hard drive that was found that they took out of the computer and put in the garage because they didn't want it in their house. So they're very forthcoming with stuff to the authorities. So if he had found that and knew that Stefan was looking for it and it wasn't where Stefan said it was and it was oddly in a weird place, then he'd probably wonder, why is it in a place where he said it wasn't? So that maybe he turned it into authorities to see if there was something on it, especially if it was a high-tech watch and not just a plain Rolex.
Yeah, and you're right. So when you say that, we all thought that too. Everyone was talking about the Rolex, but I don't think when I said, why would he ask his dad about a stolen freaking watch? When I heard about the Fitbit, I don't think Stephen Stearns would ask his about his grandfather's Rolex that he stole either. But it does make more sense that he was worried about that because there's information on it. So maybe it was two that we're talking about, but the reason I wanted to talk about the watch and Telegram and Fitbit is because it tracks you. It does track you. And Brie, you hadn't got into Telegram yet. You were telling me that you were telling me some good information about Telegram, and I kind of remember about that when the officers or when they download it, the information they get and don't get. Do you
Yeah,
remember that?
so basically, a lot of people don't know what encrypted to encrypted chat programs are. So basically, when you use Telegram, it's an encrypted program. And so there's two different versions of Telegram. There's the desktop computer version and there's the mobile version. So you can do all this stuff on your mobile phone and you get more services and more things you get access to that you can't pull up when you log into the desktop version. So you can do what's called secret chats. And these secret chats you can set so that you can detonate the conversation. So say you don't want someone to see who you're talking to, you can set it to detonate every 10 minutes or, every 20 minutes, and every 20 minutes it erases the chat from the last thing you said and everything above that. You can set a conversation to completely detonate. So say, there was three people in a conversation, then one person completely wanted to remove themselves from that conversation and detonate it. It would completely
Mhm.
remove every message that one person said and completely remove it and remove themselves and delete that conversation. And the weird thing that I found is, so the program is based in Europe and it was originally started in Russia, but it was moved to Europe, and it's in
But it was
different
for business.
jurisdictions.
It was
Originally, yes,
for
it was.
businesses. Yeah.
Yes,
So that you
originally it was
couldn't
for
steal.
businesses.
Right. So you couldn't steal it. Like you say Russia, that they were huge on that, right? Did you watch the Tetris movie where
Yeah,
the guy that invented Tetris? That's a big
yeah,
deal to steal information. So when you understand how locked down that information is or what you call encrypted, what's encrypted, that's why. That's
yeah.
what it was
So
for, not for CSAM.
in basically in Europe, they have general data protection regulations, the GDRP or GDPR, sorry, and it came into effect in Europe on May 25th, 2018, and it was taking back their rights to privacy. And that's the reason why they made Telegram. So what they did was it was made so that no one could get your data. And so what they did, they basically have a section where you can read about Telegram, and they basically say to protect the data that is not covered by end-to-end encryption, Telegram uses a distributed infrastructure. Cloud chat data is stored in multiple data centers around the globe that are controlled by different legal entities, and they spread across different jurisdictions. Now, basically, they have decryption keys, and they split the different decryption keys into different parts, and they're kept in different locations, not in the same place. So each one key is split into different numerous sections, and they're kept in different areas. And they basically say that as a result, several court orders from different jurisdictions or countries are required to force them to give you the data. They said, thanks to this structure, no single government or bloc of like minded countries can intrude on people's privacy or freedom of expression. And it also states that in order for law enforcement or the government to get this
Wait,
information, they literally would have to get search warrants from different countries to get one person's account information. The only way
what?
to get the information is if there's a dire, like a dire situation that they basically say um, that they've never given out a single byte of users' information to third parties, including governments and law enforcement. And they basically say that, it's so protected that they can't, no one can force them unless the issue is grave and universal enough to pass the scrutiny of several different legal systems around the world.
Or unless you say you're gonna chop somebody's hands off, then maybe they'll do it. But otherwise, kidding.
I mean,
Well,
if they haven't given out a
I'm just
single bit
kidding.
of information, I doubt that.
I'm talking about old school Russia. I'm kidding
Oh,
because
okay.
Linda, Texas says, I don't have any idea where this came from, but Linda, Texas sounds like she's mad. She says, Rolex wasn't his grandfather's watch. Stefan didn't buy it. Go back and listen to his parents talking about it. What? Did we say Stefan bought a Rolex? Anywhere?
Nope.
No?
No, I
While
know
you're
about
talking,
RC cars and Tamagotchis, but I don't know about him buying a Rolex. I don't think he could. I don't think he'd waste his money on that and give up
yeah,
Tamagotchis or Lorda or
yeah.
whatever the what's that Disney cards that he was buying too.
Yeah, no, he stole a Rolex, but I don't know Linda, Texas, and I do love Texas. Trust me, Texas has good food, a great downtown, Linda, Texas. But I don't know where someone's saying that Stefan bought it. So yes, hello, Jack Stormo. But Bree, yeah, 100%. I mean, what you're saying and looking at on this page and the steps taken on Fitbit and the information that we do get, the small bits, and then encrypted information. No, you're right. I was kidding. I was saying, hey, if someone says I'm going to chop your hands off if you don't give me that, then maybe they'll give it to you. But really,
Yeah,
the security is intended for things that are beyond what we can even think of. It's military
you
type,
would.
government type. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really it's something that you'd get your life taken over if you knew. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
like, I would think, like, NASA or, like,
Oh,
big companies
I
would
work
use
for those.
something like that. Yeah, so
I work
that's
for those
why a
companies.
lot of people
Yeah.
use Telegram, but then now you have people realizing, "Hey, we can use this program and no one can get our information." You can go in and go into your account settings, and it gives you the option to delete your account. You can set it to delete in however many days. You can set it in 2 days, 2 years. If you don't log on for a month, you can set it to detonate. You can detonate chats in however much time. So, say Stefan was scared of what happened and he logged on Telegram, that night, and he could have set his account to detonate if he didn't log on in 5 days. He could have set his account on Telegram to detonate just in case. And then in
And that's
five
why
days,
we
if he
don't
had
have.
logged on,
Yeah,
they couldn't
that's
get
why
a
we
search
don't have
warrant
it.
for it. Yeah.
And
So
they
we don't
can't.
know
They,
what.
as far as we know, they can't. Yeah, we don't know
Yeah,
what
they can't.
happened at 11, what was it, 11:47? The
Yeah.
last time he logged on, something like that. 11:47. I mean, that's insane that a little girl's life got taken in the Capitol. We had a Capitol offense, and we can't know what happened and what his last login was. But if we were on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, we would know and we would see whatever was being sent to whoever. So keep that in mind, y'all. But I mean, I can see why CSAMers use that.
Yeah,
It's bad.
it's
It's bad
sad
and it's
that a
good.
lot of people use it for nefarious reasons now because they know that they can't be tracked. So that's why they make these group chats, and a lot of scammers do that too from other companies or other countries, sorry. They use Telegram so they can't be traced for their scamming and their conversations and stuff. They say, "Oh, it used to be WhatsApp." Everyone used to be like, "Oh, contact me on WhatsApp." Well, now that they realize Telegram, you can't trace anything. A lot of people are like, "Oh, find me on Telegram." Because you can send files. They'll never see what files were sent. There's no tracing of it. So they can send conversation information back and forth. They can send pictures and proof of who they are, and they can send that material, and law enforcement can't check and find them. The thing that gets them caught is their browsing history. So a lot of people that, are doing CSAM stuff, they do the chatting part, but none of the conversation is really checked unless they're sloppy and they do it on like Facebook or something where they can get it checked. But the one thing that they're able to check for sure is their browsing history, and they can see them looking up different things. And people think, oh, if you use incognito mode in your browser, you're protected. No, you're not. If you get a VPN, they think they're protected. No, you're not. There's ways to get that information still. But Telegram, they're very, very smart with that program, and there's no way to get the information. So a lot of people are using it for nefarious reasons. And due to
Right.
that, I think it should be shut down.
Thank you, Synth, by the way. And I think you should have to have credentials. Now, shutting it down might piss off some, people that use it for the government or whatever, but I think there should be some serious credentials to it, not just an app that Chomo 1 and Chomo 2 can use. Now, I did
Yeah.
put this back up there for that meth thing because Jax Stormo is one of our favorites. We love you,
Yep.
Jax. And she came in and said, "Do you know about the meth thing?" So I just put it back up because that, in fact, is not Stephen Stearns at all. It's Dequan Doherty, and there's two separate cases going on. Actually, multiple cases, Jax. So,
Yeah.
so anyway, and thank you again, Synth. Yeah, that's not. If you want to see a picture of it, really who it is, it's a different guy. That's not him. So yes, we heard about it, and it's been debunked, Jax. All right. Do you want me to put that back up? Did you want to talk any more about the Fitbit stuff or the steps
No,
taken during those hours?
I just kind of wanted to just explain why the watch thing in the conversation that I think it is the Fitbit, and then just wanted to explain why they put just that little snippet of the Fitbit information and not like pages and pages of it like they do with some of the other information. Because I think that they found something that they are going to use on that Fitbit. And like I said, they can look at his normal step history and see how many steps it took when he got up in the morning to walk from
Yep.
upstairs
Yep.
to downstairs, and then look and see that night and see how many steps and see if he was pacing back and forth, see if he was doing, extra walking. And then, like I said, you turn your phone off, it's still got GPS built in, so they can still get that GPS location and know exactly where he was.
Yep, I'm with you. When I looked at that, when I'm reading the steps and then his normal typical movement, that's not his normal typical movement. So I'm like, okay, I know there's something in there. There's going to be
They can
something in there.
Yeah, and they can even see if he even slept that night. If he could have stayed up all night, they could have seen he was, if he was sweating, if he was nervous, his
Yep.
heart rate was elevated. They can check his pulse, everything from that night and see if there was something off about that night.
All right. So someone says it wasn't his grandfather's Rolex. Yeah, I don't know what debate we had, but Linda, if you say it wasn't his grandfather's Rolex, I believe you. I don't think I don't think the Rolex was brought into this at all. I think it was actually, now I understand what you're saying, but I think I think we're talking about the Fitbit because the Rolex was a stolen thing that was a stolen watch, and yeah, they didn't like that, but it didn't help the police at all, and it didn't help anyone to document that. So I don't know about that. Do you know about the Rolex? If it was his
I just
grandfather's or whose?
I know that when we were listening to the call and there was a mention of a watch, there was some people talking in chat mentioning about it being his grandfather's watch and that he had stolen it. But I
Right.
don't know anything about him purchasing a watch or
Right.
anything like that. The only thing I know that is pertaining to a watch is the Fitbit being a watch that is
Yeah.
of evidential value to them.
Now, yeah, it is. And would the parents know what a Fitbit is? They probably know what a Fitbit is, but they have no idea that it was tracking his steps. Oh, he went up 31 steps this time and this time. And other times he was a slug. He was a sloth. He didn't do anything, let alone laundry or cleaning up, like he said. So I think that's going to be a key piece in evidence when they go to compare and what he did that morning, because we're all questioning how the heck did he get Maddie out of that house? How did he get her out of the house without anyone knowing? How many times did he go upstairs? Did he go talk to Jen and get the dog leash? But really, when he was getting the dog leash, he was getting it to use that to hold Maddie in the seat, or was it relevant to that? That's what we're focused on, and I believe the cops were too. All right,
Yeah.
Heiser, what's up? And there's the non-Stephen Stearns Jax Stormo. That is the guy that was that that got the meth taken from him. That poor guy got a half gram of meth taken from him. I don't know. He's probably withdrawing somewhere on another case. So I don't know, but I know that he's
That
got
guy
quite a bit
actually
of a
got
history.
sentenced. Yeah, he got sentenced to 35 months for shooting someone in a restaurant, and the person passed away.
Okay.
So he's incarcerated.
Right. So there you
But
go.
yeah,
This guy is not Stephen Stearns. And thank you, Bree, for doing the research on him so that we can look at this guy and say, this is not Stephen Stearns. And that was not the right case number, rather than us just saying it. So grateful for Jay and the crime crew always come in with facts. Thank you. And I could attribute that to the ladies that I work with. They're always doing stuff every day for me, research or whatever, filling out paperwork, something. So thank you. Thank you, Bree and
not a
Synth and
problem.
Wolfpack and Petty and Carly. All you guys are amazing. I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to do this much without you guys. Put it that way. What's up, Michelle? Made it for a second anyway. Michelle, you were the one I was emailing back and forth with. Thank you for sending me an email about this and other things. And we love plunder, so we don't want anyone. Michelle messaged me about the Stephanie Harlow thing. Did you hear about that, Bree?
Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
the
so we
poll
love.
as well.
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with it. I think she was being respectful by putting a poll up, and
Yeah.
I don't think that people should be saying anything bad. But that, I guess that's just YouTube, huh? I'm coming to find out that I guess YouTube does that. The community tends to do that.
Yeah, it,
So
it seems to be that way. Just
yeah,
even like there's a law to, YouTuber that got arrested and everyone's all like, "Oh, post that information, get his case files." Like everyone's just, they hear something and they want the information.
which kind of sucks because we're in the true crime community and we're supposed to be helping families and victims, and that's what I want to focus on, Bree. And for all of us, all my mods, I want to focus on crime, true crime, to help families, help victims, raise money for people that are really using it for the things they're supposed to, and not about when a YouTuber has a speeding ticket or they're getting a divorce with their husband or wife. Like, I don't care about that. I don't
Yeah, we're
wanna
not
know.
into the drama or gossip. We're into,
No.
spreading awareness and fighting for justice
Yeah,
and being that
yeah,
voice
helping
for the victims.
being a platform. We wanna be a platform for those that don't feel like they have it, or they miss the people that are gone in their lives, and they feel like everyone forgot them. We didn't. Sadie's mama, thank you for being a member for 7 months. You're a day oneer. I've only been monetized for 7 months, been doing it for 9, 10, but I didn't get monetized for the first couple, so thank you. I'm sorry that you're in pain, and, every day I send you prayers. Now, you know what? I have the Guilty of Crime website that Synth built, and her and Bree worked on it. So if we can show, do you have anything else? Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and show this.
No, you go ahead. It's a beautiful website.
Yeah, she did a great job, and with the help of Bree, because Bree's been around longer, so she understands. Like, she knows that I want, more of the my guilty of crime with my blood dripping logo, because I started off doing covering serial killers, and I'm not doing that anymore because, well, YouTube and you guys. I listen to you guys. I read the emails and I try to do the things, and it's not serial killers right now.
Yeah,
So
it was kinda just
anyway,
like Synth, it was her baby and her project, and so I kinda just helped, a little bit kinda pointing her in the right direction in a couple of areas, but kinda left her in control of her own project.
right, and she asked me today if, she could be, what did she call it? Web mistress? And I said, "No, no, no, because if you do that, your people are gonna be, like, thinking that we're into some weird kinky stuff, guilty of crime." They already think weird stuff many times. They say stuff anyway.
Well,
When they get a chance
it sounds kinky, but it actually means it's a web developer and a website maker.
and that's what she was saying. So I just don't want people that are ignorant, like many that comment on
Yeah.
my community page, to even to even think that. So all right, we're gonna go through it. So there's a page right now. I don't know if we're gonna change this. It's still not all the way done, but there's a guilty of crime. Welcome to, and then when you get in here, you click on it. It talks about guilty of crime, voice for the voiceless, and kind of what it is that I have written on YouTube. She got some cool picture on here that shows us doing casework. A picture that somebody drew of me for me, without the glasses, people, without the shades. You can see me in cartoon form without the shades. All right, for those of you that say, "Why do you wear shades?" Well, because my eyes hurt. This light is bright. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of go over this. I think it's really, I like the black on with white. Love that. Bree made this thing splatter marks with the Guilty of Crime merch store. So when you go to guiltyofcrime.com, y'all, everything's in one place. So if you're looking for like my email, you can find it right here, guiltyofcrime by j@gmail.com. You can click on it and then go for it. Down at the bottom's got the Venmo app, the PayPal, the Cash app, and then I don't know what this even goes to. I haven't got a,
I think
oh, this
that's
is my
your book.
Amazon book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a book. Cool.
If you go
And
up
then
to
the
the
merch
top
store.
right, there's a where it says guilty of crime. If you run your mouse over it, it brings you to other pages that tell us about our team, about you, how to contact you, how to support you.
All right. So this is, even though, I mean, this is the crime crew, this is also the mod. So I think of you guys, not you, Bree, but the other folks as the crime crew. I guess you're part of it. So there you go. If you look at the team, you'll see there. Now, this is unrelated, obviously, to the Madeline Soto case, but since you guys have been reaching out to me a lot on my social medias, my emails, my all that, I wanted you to meet the team. So who's the photo on the screen, Sharon? That's my team. That's guiltyofcrime.com. That's my website. And then that's the team. So that's me. That's Carly. She's the channel manager of Guilty of Crime. She does research and a YouTube moderator. We got Bree right here, who's talking with us tonight. Guilty of Crime researcher, mod, and investigator extraordinaire. I don't know who put that, if that was you. You guys,
No,
they
it
kind
was
of gave
Sin.
their names. Cynthia. Synth is we love you, Synth. You're nice and quirky. That's what the word that we'll use. Quirky. All right. And I love it because it gives all of us a different kind of, feel. Now, Jojo, what is up? No picture of you, Jojo. So Jojo's our other mod. She does research and she's a YouTube mod. There's no pic here for her, obviously. Petty Mason, we don't have a pic of you yet, but
We
we got
basically
Wolfpack.
we told them that if they wanted to send a picture and that they could, if they haven't gotten back to us, we just used the logo as a placeholder until they send us a picture in.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you guys can see that there. Elizabeth Toller. All right, you guys can see our crew there. It's really cool because you can see it all at one place. And if you want to, you can, I guess you can click on this and reach out to them with the information they've given. So, like if you want to click on Wolf Packs, I guess there's what is that there? Her WNAD, healing
Oh,
the invisible wounds.
she didn't want to put personal stuff, so she
Okay.
put links to like two different organizations, I believe it is.
Cool. So like everybody else has, you can go on my Facebook, my Instagram, my Discord, and then like everybody else's, if you look at the little logo below, that's where you can reach out to them. So like Bree, you can go on to X. Also, I have an X. I stream on X every day. Maybe we should put that in there. I'm streaming this at the same time. All right. So Nancy Jean, thank you so much for the $4.99 super sticker. And I'm glad you guys like this. Synth has been the one that's been creating I guess the back end and the front with Bree's been just kind of directing her. So she's a guilty of crime researcher, YouTube mod, translator, transcriber, and a website human. That's what we decided on today. So, and then there's a ways to contact Jay here. So this is like, hey, click on this. You see it? Facebook page, group, TikTok, Instagram. We got to get my X in there because I stream on
Yeah, we gotta
X
get that
every
on
day.
there.
Now, supporting guilty of crime, that's really cool. I really love these little logos you got in here, and it makes it easy for everybody. Makes it super easy just to click on it and go. If you're asking about my book's there. Merch store, that's important. We got the merch, and we got to come out with more. You guys
Yes.
want to see some of the merch while we're going over it real quick? Let's take a look.
There's a new
All right.
sports bra with the logo.
That's Carly. Carly's been working out lately. So she did the sports bra. She's been on her treadmill. I hope that's okay to say that, Carly. I know you don't care. All right, so there's the merch store, y'all. We're gonna get some other stuff in there. You got to do the hashtag. I took my meds.
I actually was working on different versions for that with a distressed font that you said you liked. So I have different ones that I can send you to show. The
Yeah, that'd
hashtag
be
one.
cool. If I have to take out the background, I could do that and send it over. You know, the PNGs, all that weird stuff.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
usually do it
So
transparent.
Okay, you got it. Yeah, you do websites and stuff like that. All right, so you guys want to work out like Carly does and get on the treadmill, you can get yourself a guilty of crime sports bra. Tori wants one of those, but you can see there's pants and long sleeve shirts and dog shirts. We're gonna do some cuter stuff. I know this is all like black and red, which is totally J. It's totally a J thing because I'm into that, like the darker colors. But you can get yourself a bucket hat or like the white mugs or the white sweatshirts, and we'll get some cuter stuff in there, y'all. So I know some of you guys don't want to wear like black and red, but we'll get cute stuff in there. Bree. You can see Bree. She's got the cute little colorful stuff. She'll help us and synth. So we'll get we'll get that. M says I'll sponsor you. Send some merch. Well, as soon as we get some cute stuff, I will. Sports bras, yes, Leanne. Sports bras. Go to the gym and that. If you can rock that, send me a picture of it. All right. I'll put up on my social media. But I think this is cool. The guilty of
I
crime
think it would be great if anyone who buys merch could send pictures and we could post it like on your Facebook or your Instagram or something to show the merch.
I absolutely will. You guys, anyone wants to do that, please send me a picture and I'll put you up on my social media. I'll be happy to do that. And I love the bucket hat too, Elizabeth. Yes. That's my favorite. That and the black hoodie, more in black. I like the black and red. That's my thing. All right. So I think that's cool. We definitely have growth to do. We've made lots of growth here and lots of big moves, but we have a lot to go. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think we covered an hour and 37 minutes worth of things. Synth, do you have anything to add? Bree, do you have anything to add? Do hit the like button. I have that to add.
Yes, click that like button. Help us get in the algorithm. This is a fan-funded channel and we need your help by clicking that like button. You make it so that we are in the YouTube algorithm. So other true crime lovers will have Jay's videos pop up on their For You page or their main page. And then they can come in and see how awesome she is. And then they can sign up and become a member and subscribe and all that fun stuff.
And I'm covering new cases, and I'd love you guys to be involved in new cases. I'd love to have you guys come on the show with me. This is how Bree is. You can come and not show yourself, or you could be like Synth and come on and just get on here and do your thing. So I'd love someone to send me a case and be involved enough to want to come on and talk about it. Or if you're a family member or some tragedies happen to you and you want to come on and get the case all over the internet, you can come to me. Just click on Jay or guilty of crime by Jay@gmail.com and send me what you have, and I'll direct you on what we need to make an episode. I really would love that. Tomorrow I'm going to cover I'm covering a TikToker case that her life was taken and she was found out by Walmart by immigrant. So I know it's election time and those people even talked to, they went and advocated. I forgot what that's called. They went and talked to Trump, but they went on the platform. He's going state to state and
That actually
they
happened
endorsed
in
him.
Nova Scotia. I saw the video for it this morning, and she was found by her mom in the bakery.
Yeah.
Her
Yeah.
mom found her. Her mom was looking for her, hadn't seen her in an hour. She didn't answer her phone, and they found her in the bakery oven, and they're trying to debunk how the oven door got closed because of the mechanism. You have to close it really hard from the outside, and they
Wow. You have
called
to
the
send me
police.
that one.
Yeah, they called the police while they found her in there. She was still alive, banging on the door, trying to get out, and by the time they got there, they opened the door and she was already gone.
Yeah, so that's even a different case than mine. This lady was a TikTok star that was like a workout star and
Oh,
she got found near Walmart and it's somebody that shouldn't be in the country so they went and went with Trump to one of the states that they endorsed him because whatever, because he's trying to build the wall and whatever, right? I'm not going to get into politics, but I will say, yeah, it's a different case. So I want to know about that
oh,
one,
I
Bree.
when you mentioned Walmart, I thought that you were talking about the one because she actually had just moved here a couple years ago from another country with her mom to start a better life. They think they came from somewhere in Europe, I think like England, and her parents are over in the Middle East, and they raised like 150,000 so far on their GoFundMe to try and get her brother and her dad over for her funeral, sorry.
Yeah, see, and I'd love to cover that. That is not the same case, in fact. But was it a TikTok person
No, it was
or
just
no?
a
Okay.
girl that was 19. She moved here with her mom for a better life and just couldn't be found for an hour. Her mom worked with her at Walmart, and her mom went to the bakery section and saw that she was banging to try and get out and called for someone. They called 911 to try and they kept getting detail like they were trying to get the ambulance and whatnot there as fast as they could, and so the dispatcher was like, "Tell me details, like, what's going on?" And they explained, "She's in the oven, like, we can't get her out," and she was banging and banging, and then all of a sudden, by the time they got there and actually were able to get the oven door open, it was too late.
That's a that's like a horror movie, man. I really I can't comprehend some of the things, and now they obviously don't know who it is, right? They don't know
Yeah,
who did
no,
it,
they have
sounds
no
like.
idea, and the Walmart has been closed down while they're investigating because it's a crime scene. And they basically all the different Walmarts and different bakers are showing like the different ovens and debunking like if you can close the door and pull it closed from the inside, and they're showing that there's like a locking
Oh,
mechanism so that when you close the door, it's you can't pull it closed from inside because what happens is the oven is only big enough to have the rack on wheels spin on the inside of it. So there's not really a lot of room in it. But she was a very petite girl. She was only 19. And
well, think about the suitcase. Think about suitcase
yeah,
and George, right? So,
but they were showing, like,
wow.
the different doors on the ovens where some of them you push it closed and then you have to push the hand like, the big long bar over to the left to lock it. So they're thinking that maybe because she was having issues with management and, like, the upper people at her job, that someone maybe went and saw that she was going in there to get the rack, or maybe they pushed her in there and then closed it and locked it.
I mean, that's just insane. And nowadays with cameras, I wonder how there were no cameras that caught that anyway, right? You think you'd have a camera near an oven that could fit a person in it. So I want to take a look at that. I feel like maybe they're just not saying what they have,
I don't
but
know, but I will
I'd love to look
definitely send
into
you
it.
the information.
Yeah, I got it queued up for tomorrow for the TikTok star. She was a fitness TikTok star. And yeah, that's all I'm going to tell you. She was brutally you know, unalived, and they found her outside near Walmart. So it was a big impact on that community of TikTok, right? I'm hearing a lot of cases about TikTok. What's the other one? Ali Abulabon that did that, and he was
Yep,
insane in court. And yeah,
yeah,
Grizzly. When you think about Walmart cases, you think about Grizzly, right?
yeah.
She's what she called Walmart, however she says it with her accent. It's funny.
I love her
What
accent,
city
it's
and
cute when
state?
she talks.
It is McDonald's. I love her. She's awesome. But yeah, I'm gonna tell you, Krista, we're gonna go for it. I don't know the cities and state, but I want to present it to you before I put the information out. And I'm bringing new cases tomorrow. So I got Tiffany Lucas the next day that took the life of her 2 sons by a gun, and then she we got body cam, but she also pled guilty recently. So we're gonna do Tiffany Lucas. We're gonna do the TikTok star. Her name's Mimi Rodriguez. So if you want to go look her up on TikTok, you can. So lots of new cases. We got Rebecca Michelot coming on next Tuesday. So we got to come up with a show for that and let her get it out. She's got a lot to get out, y'all. So let's support her next Tuesday. All right.
And she's trying to
Thank
write
you,
her
Tish.
book. She wrote 3 hours on her book and then her computer turned off and she lost everything. So she's starting from scratch on her book, but she's trying hard to keep Corey's name out there. She thinks that, he's been forgotten now that trial and sentencing is done, but tried to assure her that we still think of him and we still mention him and his name's not been forgotten.
And I put them on the community page today. So if you guys want to go send something sweet over there to the Michelots, do that and I'll send it to her. I'll send her a link so she can see it. We'll also take a look at it next week. I can read some of your comments while she's on. We want to assure her that we did not forget Corey. And she also wants help. She's going to ask the audience if anybody knows somebody that can help or publish a book. Her publishers, they kind of ghosted her. They did a couple appointments and it just she had a bad experience and she's not having a good time this time of the year because she's missing Corey and she feels like, Christopher Gregor didn't get enough time, which I said from the beginning, but what can we do now except wish him the very worst, right?
Yeah. Halloween was
All
also
right.
really hard too because Bree had to take her baby, her daughter out for her first Halloween and Corey wasn't there. So it was kind of hard that he wasn't there to go
Yeah.
out with his little sister. So
Yeah, well, we're gonna have her back. We'll make her feel as good as we can and remember Corey. So all right, on that one, you guys hit the like button. I can't believe, Bree, we covered almost an hour and 46 minutes, almost 2 hours. All right, so go back if you hadn't watched it. Check out the fact checks we did, evidence logs, coin text, pregnancy, etc. Hit the like button, share. Sonia from Australia, good to see you. All of you guys, don't forget to hit the like button and share on your way out. And if you guys are into politics, I wish you the best. May the best candidate or the most popular one win. All right. On that note, my dogs say, get out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you. Bye, Bree.
bye.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?